thinking. So as you all know, today being the third day of the boot camp, and I have students from standard 9 to 10th attending this. If you see, I have named this particular group as Mahavira, which is same way referred to as Mahavira in the Bebras challenge. Okay, so let me tell you when is this particular Bebras challenge happening. So basically the name of this particular challenge is Bebras India International Computational Thinking Challenge 2024. It is basically conducted from 15th November to 30th November 2024. What is the mode of this particular challenge is it will be held only in the online mode. So how do the students participate for this particular challenge is they need to contact the computer teacher from their school or maybe a Teach for Goa fellow who comes to your school to teach the elective curriculum class. So basically how will they go about it is they will register your name for this particular challenge. So what are the registration dates for this is basically it will start from 20th, it has already started from 20th September 2024 and will continue during the duration of the challenge. So if you haven't registered, you can do it now as well. So basically how to register is you can register on this particular link bebras.cpatshala.org/admin. Basically this challenge happens in 5 different groups. The first group is named as Aryabhatta, second group Brahmagupta, third group Bhaskara, fourth group Mahavira, and the fifth being Ramanujam. Every group is basically again depending on their age, and basically that age group will definitely lie in that particular standard. So it is like students of age 8 to 10 years who are studying in standard 3rd to 4th standard will fall under Aryabhatta group. If I go to see y'all are students of 9 to 10th, y'all can see your group name is mentioned here as Mahavira. Okay, so it is basically students in the age group from 14 to 16 years. Basically, you will have a task which will have 15 questions to be answered and you will have a time limit of 45 minutes. Okay, so if you can see how the category based levels are, it is going to happen like this. Basically, every group has 3 category questions based on the difficulty level. It is A category questions first, then comes B category questions, and then comes C category questions. Every category you have different points that gets added up for a correct answer. For example, if you give a correct answer to a category question, you will get +6 points. But if the answer that given by you is incorrect, then it will be 0 points. Or if you leave a question unanswered, then it will be 0 points. So similarly like this, B category you will get +9 points for the correct answer. C category you will get +12 points for the correct answer. So this is going to be the point marking for every question that will be assigned to you. Languages also, this particular Bebras Challenge 2024, you can answer it in whichever language you are comfortable in. This happens in total 6 languages, that is English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Kannada, Odia, that is Telugu. So you have 6 different languages in which you can answer this particular challenge. So for your group, that is group 4, it is like you will be able to answer in English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Telugu. You are not allowed in Kannada or Odia. So you can choose any language among the 5 languages which is open up to you and answer the challenge. Okay, so this challenge students had appeared for it before in the last 2 years, students are participating for this particular Bebras India International Computational Thinking Challenge 2022. Winner was from Goa. He was the national rank holder first, named Nairan DiCosta from Perpetual Sukur Convent High School, Naveli, South Goa. Similarly, last year also we had a winner from Goa for this challenge for 2023. The student named Vihan Marathe. He was a student from Dr. K.B. Hedgewar High School, Asnora, Goa. So now let's begin with some sample questions for your category, that is Mahavira Group 4. So basically I have just one first question here, a sample question, how it will appear in your Bebras challenge on the day of the challenge. As I mentioned to you earlier that there will be around 15 questions which you will have to attempt. So how it is going to be? As I mentioned, there will be 3 categories, group A category, B category and C category questions. So when you open up the challenge, you will have a question appearing first from the A category, that is Mahavira. As you can see here, it is highlighted as Mahavira A. So this is an A category question. So the difficulty level will go up from the lowest range to the highest. So your difficulty level. So I have a first question here, heart graphics. Okay, so basically here it is like this. Tina started with one circle and one square. So she had 2 geometric shapes, circle and a square. Then she created this heart. Okay, she created the heart which you can see over here on screen. Tina only used these kinds of operations on the initially she took 2 shapes and she created a heart shape. So when she created the heart shape, she must have used these operations, wherein we have the first operation as rotate, move and duplicate. So in rotate, basically she must have rotated the shape by any amount in either direction. Second was move operation, that is she has moved the shape anywhere. Third was duplicate, that is create a copy of the shape at the same location. So the question here is, which of the following sequence of operations could Tina have used? Like as I mentioned to you, 3 operations were performed on these shapes. Either it was duplicate or rotate or move. So to generate that heart shape, which operation she must have started first and which she must have ended with it. So the sequence is given here under 4 different options. Is it the first option that she followed duplicate the circle, rotate square, move circle again? Second option says duplicate the square, rotate the square, move the square, move the circle. The third option says duplicate the circle, rotate the circle, move the circle and move the square. Or the last option says you move the circle, repeat the same operation, that is move the circle, duplicate the circle and move the square. So you can think about this question wherein I have this shape being generated. So I give you a time of 30 seconds to think about this. So the correct answer here is option A, wherein the option A states that the circle was duplicated first, then the square was rotated, moved the circle and lastly moved the circle. So okay, let me explain to you why the answer is option A. It is like, first I have a circle, so the circle was duplicated. So I had two copies of the circle. Then the square, instead of keeping it straight that way, it needs to be rotated so that one corner is facing down. Then what was done is the same sequence, it will happen. It was mentioned there in sequence A and B, the sequences in options A and B, the sequences mentioned at the start were almost similar. But then hence the correct solution would have been either A or B. But next you can see that you need two circles to create a heart. So sequence B cannot be the correct answer because it does not create a second circle. Whereas in the option A, it creates a second circle and then it leaves the only option as the correct answer as option A. So you can see the options, the images which are shown here at the bottom of the screen. So after the final operation, so they have done it stepwise. Initially there was a circle and a square, then they duplicated the circle. So you have two copies of the circle and then they rotated the square which was there so that its one of the corner was facing down, and then the two circles were moved over it. Okay, so whoever has said option A is the correct answer. Move on to question number 2. The question number 2 is about pool party lockers. The beavers are going for a pool party, and at the pool party the beavers handed over the locker keys along with the locker number to an old beaver for safekeeping. Okay, so now the old beaver has devised a system as shown in the picture to keep the track of locker number for each key. So he has made some system wherein it will become easier for him to identify the keys. So for example, if for the locker number 243, the old beaver draws the digits 2, 4 and 3 one by one on a paper and then connects the digits to the purple key. So you can see in that picture there, as the locker number was 243, so how has he marked it with a flow wherein it starts with number 2 first, the first digit, then the 4, the second digit, and then the number 3. So later in the evening, what happens is the beavers found out that water had gotten onto the sheet of the paper and smudged some of the written digits. So when this happened, like now he's all lost, how to identify. So what happens here is, so now the question here is, knowing that the keys for the locker numbers 73X, 24XX, 7X, 1X are arranged in a order, which one of the following sets of keys is the correct set for these lockers? Okay, so here you will have to see which particular locker number are arranged in this particular order. So now you have to see which key color. As I told you, they are number coded plus the keys are colored. If you can see them over here, there are some key with blue, green, red, purple, yellow colors. Okay, but how is their representation based on the numbers, digits which are being assigned to them? So basically here you have to do what is, you will have to see which of the following set of keys is the correct set for these lockers. So if you see option A, it is yellow first, green, blue. Okay, second option is blue first, green, red. Third option is purple, yellow, green. And fourth option is red, green and blue. So which one do you think is a correct set of option? So for this, you please note down this so that I can refer to you to the main flow of the keys which is here at the start. So the sequences, if you go by, mentioned there, or you can make a note of this particular flow picture which is shown here at the bottom of this story. You can see the picture, the same picture you can use to choose the correct answer. Okay, so the sequence you can note down and keep. So the correct option is option number A. Now, why option A? Now, option A is like if you see the keys are yellow, green and blue. So I come back to my question here. It is yellow, green and blue. So if you see the number code for yellow is 3-digit number 733. So 733 is the first locker number which is mentioned here. The last one digit was hidden. Then second one is 24XX. So if I see 24XX, then it is 4-digit a locker number which starts from 2 and 4. Do I have any other option with 2, 4 starting initially? No. So it's the only option that is left out with me is the green key. The third option is 7x1x. If you see here, it is like a 4-digit locker number. Here it varies. 3-digit locker numbers are there and 4-digit locker numbers. So the number starts with 7x1x. So the x that is hidden here is 7912. So x, the two x's which are there are number 9 and 2. These two digits. So it is blue. So the option A is the correct answer. Okay, now students, will move on to the next question. That is question number 3. Again, this is of category A, Mahavira. So there's a colorful tower. So a colorful tower has basically hexagonal pieces in 3 colors. So Samir has this, and when he places 3 pieces as shown below, the 3 pieces must be all of the same color, or it could be all different colors. So which means if all 3 hexagons are of the same color is allowed, or it should be of all 3 different colors. So let's move on to the question. The question here is Samir places pieces in a tower shape as shown below. What must the top piece be? Option A, option B, option C, option D as mentioned here. I give you a time of 30 seconds. You can try solving this. Correct answer here is option A. That is, should be the last hexagon, that is the top piece hexagon is yellow in color. Now, why this top piece is yellow in color? If you can see here, right at the bottom, actually there is, you can start working from any side, but the easiest way how you can try to rectify the solution this particular problem is if you can start with the bottom 2 hexagons were of green color. So the third hexagon should be obviously of the same color. So that's why it is marked in green. If you see on the rightmost corner, the hexagon was blue in color, and the second last hexagon in the bottom row was green in color. So obviously the third hexagon has to be the third color which is there. So that way it goes right from the bottom to the top of the tower and the resulting color is yellow. So students, now let's move on to question number 4. Okay, now this question is of Mahavira, but which category it belongs to is category B. Okay, so here the difficulty level will little be higher. So basically here you can see some meals and then there is a storage at one location. So basically you will see that all these meals are connected to a pathway that reaches the storage center. So basically here it is like the picture shows several meals and the roads are connecting them to the storage. So every evening the meals produce some sacks of flour and then places them in front of their meals. There's a beaver called as Vivek who is picking up the sacks and he brings them to the storage before sunset. So Vivek can carry several sacks at the same time, but again his weight cannot become heavier more than 15 kg. So the time it takes Vivek to travel from one meal to another and to the storage is shown in the picture. Okay, so if you can see this picture tells you about the time and the weight of the flour that is being placed by every meal at their doorstep. So here Beaver Vivek will carry from every meal and he will go towards the storage. But again, it's like his weight cannot be heavier than 15 kgs. Okay, so the question here is, starting from the storage, Vivek the beaver wants to bring in all the sacks to the storage as fast as possible. How many minutes does it take him to carry out this task? Is it A, 50 minutes, 31 minutes, 44 minutes or D, 54 minutes? I'll give you a time of 30 seconds. You note down the minutes and then I'll switch to the image which is showing you the flour mill content and the time. Okay, so you can refer this particular image to solve your question. Students, I've told you the correct answer is option A. Now, why A? Let me explain to you. Okay, so if you see the total weight of the flours, if you consider every meal, it will be around 35 kg that he will have to pick up. Vivek will have to pick up around 35 kg. Since Vivek the beaver can carry only maximum of 15 kg per trip. So there's again a condition wherein it is like he can carry maximum of 15 kg per trip. So now what will happen if he chooses the path which is highlighted in red? It will be like it will take as an example, we will try path by path and see how it is possible. So actually if he wants to take 35 kg, he will have to go at least make 3 trips to finish the entire flour to be placed at the warehouse. So it will be like he will have 3 trips. So now to minimize, again he has to consider the time. He has to pick up the sacks in the neighboring mill, so he will have to minimize the time. So let us take the example of the first path. If he is picking up the 9 kg sack from the upper left mill, so then Vivek will have to pick up the 3 kg in its neighboring mill also. So the total weight will come 12 kg. If he adds up one more meal's weight, then it will exceed again 15 kg. So other sacks are almost weight more than 3 kg. So it is not possible for him to take any more if he takes only from these two meals. So again, the round trip that it would take for him will be just 20 minutes. So in that case, 20 minutes is not the correct answer. The other options which are possible to him is like he will take up the other route. When he takes up the other route, it is like the total weight that he takes is 14 kg. Again, the round trip, it takes 24 minutes. But again, he is not taking the flour from the other two meals. So the trip which is there basically here is the shortest route, where he's just the third trip that is making up that remaining 9 kg from the meal. So it is closest to the storage. So it will hardly take him 6 minutes. So the total trip that comes is 15 minutes. So the order of the first, second and third trips above can be interchanged, okay, of the sacks to be picked up. If you see option B cannot be the answer, because it is like he will pick up the 9 kg sack from the upper left. Meal would already require like 20 minutes. Option C also cannot be the answer. And lastly, option D also cannot be the answer. So it has to be option A, 15 minutes, where he's covering up all the meals and the time taken is for him is 50 minutes. So if I go back to my question, so it is like here I can say that Vivek the beaver is possible for him to carry out the task of bringing in all the sacks to the storage in 50 minutes. So students, now let's move on to question number 5. Again, this is a Mahavira B category question. So it's about the flower garden. The flower garden is a simple logic game. Okay, if you click on a square, you can either see a flower or a number. So the number shows how many neighboring square have flowers in them. Okay, so it is like if you click on a particular square, you will either see a flower or a number. And then if it's a number, then that number will show you how many flowers are there in the neighboring squares. So the goal of the game is to uncover all the squares on the grid that do not contain flowers. Okay, so if you can just observe the grid, how it is. So basically, if you try to open a square, okay, or click on a square, basically you will see a flower or a number. So in the situation shown in the picture below, we can see some numbers and we can assume there is a flower in the square. Okay, so here the question is, in which square marked with A, B, C or D do we have another flower? Okay, so I'll give you 4 options are there. It's either A, B, second option is B, third option is C and fourth option is D. So I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to answer this question. As I told you students, the correct answer is option B, that is alphabet B. Now why B? If you can see in the question, I will start first in the alphabetical order. It is like the first square that is marked as A. Okay, we have a 1. Below A there is a 1. and below that 1 there is a flower, so that it indicates that A cannot contain a flower. Next, if you see option C and D are marked in such a way that their neighbor is 1 and adjacent to the neighbor there is a flower. So C and D also cannot contain flower. Now the only option that is left with us is option B. Now B again has two neighbors. They are 1. Both are 1. They can refer to this, if they can refer to this square, but only the number 2 of the square, which is there in the left down, shows that the flower needs to be there. But this 2 has only 2 neighbors again, which do not contain flowers. And if we have assumed a flower, another flower needs to be in the square marked B. So I hope your answer is clear. Okay, students, now let us start with question number 6. Now, the question number 6 is Mahavira C category question. Okay, so here you can see the question. The name is favorite gem. Ram has a collection of gems. He ranks his gems from his overall favorite to his least favorite. Okay, so Sunita, who knows what gems are in Ram's collection, but she does not know how he has ranked them. So Sunita has a plan to find out which gem is Ram's favorite. So Sunita chooses 4 of Ram's gems and asks Ram, out of this group of 4, which gem is your favorite? So Sunita chooses a new set of 4 gems and asks again her the same question. Then she chooses a third set of the 4 gems and asks her question for the last time. Note, when Sunita chooses her second and third set of 4 gems, she may sometimes include the one that she has chosen before. Okay, so the question is like Ram has a collection of gems and now Sunita is trying to figure out that which is Ram's overall favorite gem and least favorite gem. He has just randomly placed them, but now Sunita wants to find out which gem is Ram's favorite. So the question here is, if Sunita is to find Ram's overall favorite gem, what is the largest possible number of gems in Ram's collection? Whether it is 8, option A 8, option B 10, option C 11 or option D 12. So I give you a time of 30 seconds to think about this. Correct answer is option B. Why option B is, the question here is like what is the largest possible number of gems in Ram's collection is B, that is 10. Now here Sunita wants to find out Ram's overall favorite gem. So as per the information given here, what Sunita does is she takes 4 gems first and she asks Ram to select 1 gem. So when Ram selects one of his favorite among those 4, she knows that 1 is his favorite. Similarly, in the second set of 4 gems, Ram selects another 1 gem. Okay, now answer says it is 10. So 10 gems were taken by Sunita, but when she had shown Ram, she had shown as first set, second set and third set. In the first set, she had shown Ram 4 gems, out of which 1 was selected. Second set, when she showed 4 gems, 1 gem was selected. And out of the 10, there were 2 remaining. So she might take the same gems which are remaining, or she might take from the last set also. And when she shows in the third set, when she shows the 4 gems, it is possible for her to know that which is the Ram's favorite gem, that is the largest possible number of gems that she can show. If you compare 8, it's not possible to get because she will not cover up most of the gems. Similarly, C is not possible and D also is not possible. So the only possible number is 10. So this is like a total of 5 possibilities for Ram's most favorite gem, and Sunita does not have any other information about how they rank, so her strategy cannot work. So in this case, it will be only possible with 10 gems. So the correct answer is option B, 10 gems. Okay, students, now let's move on to the next question, that is question number 7. Again, it is Mahavira category C. 4 tiles. So basically here you are asked to arrange the 4 tiles into a 2 by 2 square according to the following rule. The tiles may only touch each other at the sides that carry exactly the same symbol. The picture shown an example below. You are now given the following 5 tiles. You must arrange 4 of these 5 tiles into a 2 by 2 square that follows the rule above. In this case, there is only one possible choice of 4 tiles that allows this. Okay, so the question here is, which tile will you not use? Option A, B, C, D, E. So the tiles are also being lettered as A, B, C, D, E. So I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to think about this and answer. If you go to C over here, the correct answer is option C. It's possible to create a 2 by 2 square that follows the rules using A, B, D and E tiles only, like this. So who's left out is C. So they won't be able to use a tile C to do this particular pattern of 2 by 2 square. Okay students, so now let's move on to question number 8. This question also belongs to Mahavira C category, wherein the question name here is rug weaving. Okay, Hale is a Turkish weaving artist. She is making a square rug with 6 rows and 6 columns. If you can see a sample there of the rug, wherein she has numbered the rows and the columns from 1 to 6. Okay, now here. Hale puts a symbol in each row, in each square on the grid of the rug using the following questions. Does the row number or the column number or both is equal from 1 or 6? Equal 1 or 6 means it will be indicated with a purple patch. Else, is the row number and the column number the same? Then it will be indicated by a red patch. Is the row number larger than the column number? It's going to be a blue patch. Else it's going to be a orange patch. Now it's understood that whatever row or column, it's going to fill up with these patches, the boxes which are indicated there. It could be either a purple patch, red patch, blue patch or an orange patch. So over here the question is, using this method, what would the resulting rug look like? So you have 4 options, A, B, C, D. Okay, so it's going to fill up with those patches. So you will have to see, using this flow, what is mentioned here, it's going to fill up the patches here. So with those respective patches, so I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to think about that pattern and tell me the correct answer. Okay, so the correct answer to this question is option B. So the option B rug is the one which follows these steps, these patches that you will see in this particular rug. Okay, so now we will take up some more questions. So next is a question number 9, Mahavira A category question. The question name is cuckoo birds. Okay, you can see a picture of a tree with nest and you can see some cuckoos there. Okay, now here the spotted cuckoo birds, basically they don't build their nest. What they do is they go and move into the empty nest built by somebody else, some other bird. So when a spotted cuckoo bird finds a tree with empty nest, it moves into the nest as follows. So it is like it starts first at the bottom of the tree. It repeats the steps until it finds an empty nest. So what it will happen is it goes up until it encounters a nest. If a nest is empty, it moves into the nest. So it has got place, so it's done. So if the nest is occupied, the bird looks at the cuckoo bird in the nest. If the other bird has more spots, the bird continues to the left. And if it has the same number of fewer spots, the bird continues to the right. So there is a tree with 5 empty nests and there are 5 cuckoo birds. So the birds move into the empty nests in order from left to right. The bird with 4 spots is the first one to move on the tree. So once the bird with 4 spots goes and occupies a nest, then the bird with 2 spots, then with 3 spots, then with 1 spot, and then with 5 spots will move on and try to occupy the nest. Now the question here is, which bird will move into the highest nest? So option A here is the bird with 2 spots. Option B is the bird with 1 spot. Option C is the bird with 5 spots. And option D is the bird with 3 spots. So as I told you, the nest which is there on the topmost, that is the highest nest, needs to be occupied by a cuckoo bird. So now which bird do you think will go on top? So it's option A, 2 spots, 2 spots on the head. Option B is 1 spot. Option C is 5 spots. And option D is 3 spots. So now I will show you the tree, the nest with the nest. So first the 4 spot bird will move and occupy a nest. So you need to follow the 3 steps which are mentioned here and try to find out the which bird with how many spots will reach at the highest nest or will occupy the highest nest on the tree. So I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to solve this question. So the correct answer here is option D. Okay, option D is the bird with 3 spots. Now how this answer is the bird with 3 spots. So if you can see, the bird with 3 spots is the third bird to reach the highest nest. So it will be like the first bird goes and occupies this lowest nest. So once it occupies this lowest nest, the second bird will go. And when the second bird goes, it will check first how many spots this bird has. So it basically has 4 spots. So now here it is having more than this bird, right? So since it is having more than this bird, it needs to go to the left side. So it will go on the left side and occupy. Now, next bird is the bird with 3 spots. So what it will do, it will go here. Again, it will climb on top and try to, when it is going here at both the places, it will go and try to occupy the nests and check the spots on it. So when it checks the spots on it, again it finds that it is less than the first one, but it is more than the second one. So when it is more than the second one, it needs to go to the right. And so when it goes to the right, it is the topmost nest that it will occupy, then the others will follow. So I hope everybody has understood why the answer is option D. Okay, so now let me take the next question, that is question number 10, Mahavira category B. Okay, now the question name here is find an animal. We can find an animal name by the representation of the position of the letters in the table. So which table are they talking about? This table which is there here. So there are letters, as you can see in the table. There are different alphabets, letters, and some animals are holding that particular table, board. And example they have given, it's having a schema. Schema is this pattern which is shown in red. Now we can find a word panda. You can see in the table here, it has alphabets in the row like this, horizontal, and in the column. So there are 4 rows and 4 columns. Now when you see here, there are different alphabets which are randomly placed. So when this schema is being put, say I put it in the first row, B, E, A, P and D. So do I have any animal or bird with this name? No, I do not have anything with this particular alphabets. So I'll try to shift my schema one row down. So when it comes here, P-A-N-D-A. So I found a name, panda. So this way, if I try to place different schemas, I will get different animal names in the table. They are hidden in this schema pattern form. Okay, so this is how I found the panda word. So now let me move on and see the question. So what is the question here is, find the name of the animal in the table represented by the following schema. So they have given you a schema and they are telling you to try to identify this schema in the table with different alphabets or names. So here the option A is elephant, option B is squirrel, option C is tortoise, and option D is antelope. Okay, so over here basically what happens is, you have to try to place this schema across this table. You try to go from left to right and try to see where when you place this schema, you get an animal name. So if I start from here, it will be like A, D, N, A, X, Q, U, O. Do I have any name? Any animal name with this name? So this way you try to figure out which animal you will get for this particular pattern. So you go on moving from left to right. So I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to try to solve this. Here the correct answer is option B. Now why option B is because if you see here, if I want to place this particular schema, I start from the bottom here first. It is A, D, N, A, X, Q, U, O. I do not have any animal with this particular letters. So what I will do is I will keep on moving my schema. Say I move it here. So if I move it here, it is like D, P, A, E, A, X, I, U. Again, I don't have any animal with this particular name. So if I try to go on moving from left to right and from bottom to top and place this schema, I will find squirrel here. So if I check here, it is S, Q, U, I, double R, E, L. So this is where I get the answer to this particular question. I hope everybody has got the answer to this particular question. Okay, let me take up the next question, that is question number 11. Let me take up the next question, that is question number 11. In question number 11, it's Mahavira C category question. There is a jumping jack. Now, who's this jack? Jack is basically a monkey who's living in a park. Okay, and he basically jumps. So his name is Jumping Jack. He will jump when he wants to move. So basically from one tree to other, he can jump and go. It's like from one tree he can jump to another tree if it's either up or if it's down, that is horizontally or vertically to two cells, or one cell away diagonally. So basically over here you can see a table with cells, small boxes which are called as cells. This is the map of the park basically, and in the map of the park it's showing different trees placed at different locations. So they are put in some boxes which are called as cells. So if the monkey jumps, he can jump from one tree to other. If it's either up two cells, okay, or away horizontally or vertically, or one cell diagonally. Diagonally is this way. He can go from this tree to this tree, this tree to this tree. Okay. Now he plays a game wherein he jumps to as many different trees as possible without touching the ground. So he need not touch the ground, but he needs to jump to all the trees. So he can start from any tree in the park. There is no restriction on this. He can start from any tree in the park. Now the question here is, what is the largest number of different trees he can visit in a day? Which means how many number of trees do you think in this map of the park he can visit in a day? So option A is 5, option B is 7, option C is 8, and option D is 9. Now if you see over here, the trees are in different cells. Try to follow the condition that when he is jumping, he can jump up to two cells, away horizontally or vertically, or one cell diagonally. So now what is the largest number of trees do you think he can visit in a day? So I'll give you a time of 30 seconds to solve this question. The correct answer here is option C. Now how C is, if you see over here, what is the option C saying? Option C is saying it is 8 trees. So the same map of the park I'll explain to you here. So it is easier if you try to put the trees with some color while solving this. Okay, like You can color the trees with different colors, but you can /www.bebras.in. Okay, so you can register there. Okay, so next is the practice challenge of 2024 is available to you on bebras.cpcspatshala.org. So you will find some questions, sample questions solved here on this particular link. Kindly fill your details in the Google form link that is provided in the chat box. Thank you all students for joining in for this particular bootcamp.